everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake, his bitch.
And this is Ask Hugo number 42. And calm down, Douglas Adams fans, we get it. You like a very popular book, aren't you so special? Anyway, today I'm here to answer more of your questions. And, yeah, that's the premise of the show. So take it away, Jake.
I got you a present for this episode.
Oh.
Because, I showed you earlier, but I'll show them. I got, this is just the thing. I got the handy snacks today. I'm revisiting my childhood. And so I decided to revisit my parents and their alcoholism. So I got a Zima.
Oh my God! Where did you get a Zima? Do they make Zimas still?
Smells. I've never had one of these because I was a child.
Wait,
and they don't give them to you.
Question: did they bring back Zima, or did you eBay?
No, they brought back Zima.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Oh, that smells just bad. That smells like old beer.
What's it supposed to be? Isn't it like
refreshing citrus beverage? It's like a malt beverage, like a Smirnoff. Let's try it out.
Oh God!
This is my present to you. I didn't send you any because I found it today. But
yeah, I'm good.
That I won't be drinking all of these.
Oh,
it tastes like it's from the 90s and they just put it in a box.
Oh my God.
It you remember getting drunk on Smirnoff Ice when you were a kid? Probably not you, but other kids that had social lives. Same thing. It's not. Don't buy Zima. Hoofed Blackie. You made me say Hoofed Blackie. Well done. Why am I so fat?
I thought this was a good time to once again remind our viewers we are in the middle of our TBR weight loss drive. I've decided that's what we're calling it now.
The weight loss drive?
The weight loss drive. It's like a bake sale, but like the opposite of a bake sale. So right now we're trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose like 50 pounds. I don't know what Jake's goal was, but...
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm going to go one over whatever yours is.
Sure. So... This person asks, why am I fat? I'll tell you why. And anyone out there in our audience who would also like to...
It's the same answer for everybody.
Anyone who wants to lose weight along with us, I would love for you to do so. Let's get healthy together, and let's talk about how you can do so. The reason you are fat is because you eat more calories than your body needs over a given period of time.
Or you don't burn them off, which is the same thing as just having too many. It just depends on... You're either active, but you eat like shit, or you're sedentary and you eat pretty fine, or it's a mixture of the two.
Sure. So if anyone out there doesn't know, and this is going to come as I'm sure plenty of people are going to be like, really, are they talking about this? There are a lot of people out there who think that fat people and thin people like are just like that, and it's magic. It's not magic. It's a function of how much you're eating. So
yeah.
If you'd like to lose weight, I would recommend something called MyFitnessPal's Calorie Counter. You can find that on the Google Play Store, and I'm pretty sure on the Apple Store, though I could be wrong.
If you'd like to spend a pretty penny, Fitbit has its own app that's also very good.
My phone, the new phone I just got, actually, I feel like if I name the brand of the phone now, I feel like I'm just advertising 7 things at once. But my phone also has a step counter on it, and a lot of modern phones do. So what you want to do is figure out your BMR and TDEE, and what those are how many calories based on your age, gender, and weight are you supposed to eat in a day. And when you Google these things, it will explain what the difference is. One is how many calories you burn if you were just laying in bed, and one is basically how many calories do we estimate based on a normal lifestyle. You want to go with a normal lifestyle one, but I do think the other one is interesting to know.
It's like everything combined.
So... For instance, though, mine, I don't exercise right now. I was doing it for a while, but now I'm mostly just doing the eating thing. My calories per day at my current weight, if I wanted to maintain it, is about 2,000 calories. If I want to lose weight, you just got to eat under that, and how fast you lose the weight is a function of how much you're eating under that. Now, there are, of course... Don't undereat too much. You don't want to have an eating disorder. You just
also your body can go into like a starvation mode and it'll hold on to stuff much longer.
It'll still
like a siege
hold on.
Thing.
I don't even like to talk about that because then people get confused, and that's...
Yeah, you're right.
If you eat under...
You will starve.
You will lose weight.
Eventually wither away, yeah. It will work.
There is a correct middle ground to where you need to be losing weight, but also eating enough that your body's still, like, fine and functioning correctly.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I'm just saying. I guess I'm kind of warning against crash dieting. Is what I'm
yes.
saying. Like,
Yes.
if you just stop, it doesn't work right away, and you'll harm yourself. Yes. Is basically what I'm saying. It will work eventually, of course. I mean, your body is not. You're not a cocoon person.
Right. There aren't like a lot of fat people in like sub-Saharan Africa or whatever.
Right. And I don't know if you can tell
Africa.
because I see each other. We see each other every day, so I don't know. I don't know if you can tell.
If you put I'm not asking you to do this. I'm just saying if someone else who's less lazy wants to do this, if you put a side by side of us about 3 months ago and now, there's a little bit of a difference. Not a lot.
Sure.
I'm still super fat. I'm only 15 pounds down on a goal of 50 pounds, but you can tell a little bit. So if anyone out there wants to join us, please do. There's no time like the present. Mm-hmm. And if anyone out there disagrees with this, I'm sorry you don't understand the laws of thermodynamics. And yes, by the way, this is a simplistic view. Also, like, nutrients and stuff do factor in. Yeah. And, like, eating 1,000 calories of pure protein, I mean, I guess you couldn't eat pure protein, but you know what I mean, of mostly protein versus...
Tofu.
Yeah, sure. Versus like eating 1,000 calories of something that's just chock full of sugar. Your body will metabolize those differently, but your basic rules should be calorie based.
Yeah. For instance, I don't know how many calories you eat. How many are you down to a day?
Anywhere between 1,200 and 1,500. 1,200 if I'm really trying to cut, or 1,500 for like an average day.
It put me at 15 to 18 for like they give you like how much weight do you want to lose? Well, like, what's the rate at which you'd like to do it? And it says aim for 1,500 to 1,800, but that's including me working out as well. So, and I'm just a bigger person than you. So
yeah, the bigger you are, actually, this is good too. The taller you are, the more calories you're gonna get. The fatter you are, the more calories you get if you want to maintain your weight, and the easier it'll be to lose weight at the beginning. Fortunately, I'm a short little guy at 5'6", so once I get down to the weight I'm supposed to actually be, I can only eat about 1,750 calories a day to maintain my weight, which is unfortunate, but that's just life. Life isn't fair. So,
yeah, it put me at about 21 if I wanted to maintain, which is decent. I don't usually eat that much. What it is a lot of people, you drink your calories.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes in, especially if you get like cream in your coffee or you drink energy drinks.
Cream in coffee, energy drinks, pop. Some people drink
soda.
Some people drink diet sodas and then think, "Oh, I drank a diet soda, so I can eat a whole pizza." No, diet soda is a replacement for a drink, not an excuse to eat more.
I try to do the water thing.
Yeah, you should definitely. Water's best. You need to stay hydrated when losing weight as well, otherwise it's harder.
Oh yeah, you get real crampy. Especially because most people like us in our age group subsist on caffeine to function because you work, school, etc. If you start working out a lot, you will cramp the fuck up hard.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And especially when you're as overweight as I am, for instance, when you lose weight, there's always a chance you get like flabby skin that doesn't shrink up all the way. And the more hydrated you remain, the more likely your skin will heal itself. I'm still going to have stretch marks, though, which I will proudly display to you people if I lose
on
the weight.
The beach! With your chest glistening in the sun.
Sure, and then what else? I promise I'm almost done, guys. Seriously, with the weight thing. But
well, I think it's important for
It is. I want our
fat
audience...
neck beards to discuss this kind of thing every once in a while.
Sure, I want our audience to be healthy and around for a long time. So, also, alcohol calories are crazy because it's not governed by the same body as just food. I don't think. They don't have to put calories, or they're not governed by the same laws, I should say. They don't have to put calories on like beer or malt beverages or
This does
liquor.
say calories though, which is surprising.
Some do voluntarily.
181.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
For a Zima.
That's actually not too bad for a malt beverage. Some malt beverages...
You could get a Michelob Ultra and have 93 calories?
I've seen some beers that are about 100, but I've also seen beers that are or other malt beverages that are up to 250, and like a tall boy of like something like that's like 400 to 500 calories just in and of itself. So
it's surprising because remember it is like made of like wheat and grains and stuff. So I don't know, and do a good job, guys.
Yeah. So and the reason you're fat, like we said, you just stop eating so fucking much.
Nos believing, if stranded on a deserted island and hungry, which part of Jake would you cannibalize first? What's not shown here is that I suggested my meaty thigh.
You know, the thing was, I was gonna say thigh too. I think.
Oh yeah.
Because you've talked before about like thigh nuggets. If you were to eat a person, you just cut off a nice chunk of thigh meat and fry it up. I'm assuming on this desert island I have access to an industrial fryer. So I'm going to cut off a nice big chunk of Jake's thigh and I'll eat it. But don't worry, I assume he's not dead at this point. In my ideal eating Jake fantasy, he is still alive and aware of everything going on. He is just incapacitated to the point of not being able to stop me. So he's there and I take a nice big juicy bite of the thigh nugget, and it is so enticing, he himself cannot not also eat the thigh nugget. He eats the thigh nugget. All of a sudden, he's obsessed with eating himself. Jake eats himself. I eat Jake. I get rescued. Write a best-selling book. Make $10 million. Bingo. This whole thing paid off. So, thanks for your question.
Marion Bramhall. Question. How does your skeptical nature filter through to your normal everyday life? Is it hard for you to listen to people who believe in everything, ghost religion, hip-hop Illuminati, nice, etc.? And do you ever just go along with the fallacious beliefs when you are outnumbered in social settings just to keep the conversation going?
Yeah, my whole family's religious, quite religious. Not like in a mean way, not like in a Southern Baptist hates the gays way. They're Christian. They believe very strongly. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I've had discussions about it with my mom. They have gotten heated at this point, though. I'm very okay with it. And we can have calm, level-headed discussions about our disagreements. And I can do that in general now. I think there's a question later where I'll touch on how big of an asshole I used to be. But in social situations, I'm never... This is just me. If you don't feel comfortable with this, I don't blame you. I'm always open and honest about my beliefs. I'm not confrontational about it. But if someone brings something up, and it's a conversation that clearly is open to the group, I am okay with saying, well, I think this, and that. But when you're talking about social settings and when it's appropriate and stuff, for instance, during family occasions, before Thanksgiving meal or Easter or whatever, because they have Easter celebration, because they are, again, religious, they'll pray. I, for instance, recuse myself from that, not because I want to be like, fuck you and your religion, but because I don't believe it. No one's questioned me on it as of yet. I don't think they ever will, but if they ever did, my answer to them would be, you can do your thing, that's great, I respect that, but don't you think it would be pretty disrespectful of me to pretend to pray when I don't believe that?
Right.
That's how I always think about it.
It felt like the religious version of crocodile tears almost. Like it really feels disingenuous for me to put myself in the situation because my families do that too. My dad's side specifically. I don't know. I as far as the conversation, is it hard for you to listen to people who believe in everything? It is if it's someone I'm close to, like my mom believes in ghosts, and I think she's silly as fuck for believing that. But she's also kind of one of those people who's like, like she never really, like the universe and her place in it was never really a question in her head that she explored. So I'm not like mad at her for coming to that conclusion. It's just kind of like it was her default. You know what I mean? Like she's been around spiritual, religious people most of her life, so it's just kind of like. She never really practiced religion. Like her brother, my uncle, is very, very religious, like super Christian. But he like watches the show sometimes, and he said that he enjoys the content. He's a history buff too, so he probably gets off on that. I said gets off. It's not a sexual thing. Older people say that when they enjoy things. Don't judge me, young kids. But yeah, I don't usually argue with family members about that shit. But if someone brings it up and they want to talk about it, I'm usually more than happy because I like the conversation.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to be respectful. And I think that's important because when you're not, don't make it like a personal thing if you can. It's try to ask questions, be Socratic about it. That's kind of how I operate it. It just seems less swordy and more quill pen thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels a little more peaceful and domestic. Royal 97, dear Hugo, you like jazz!
I'm going to go ahead and put a moratorium officially. Remember when I did the moratorium on ghost questions?
Yeah.
I am now officially putting a moratorium on B-movie memes. It is dead.
B-movie meme?
Yeah, that's from B-movie. He's like, do you like jazz? He says it when he's hitting on the lady. We get
that
it.
it?
It's an absurd movie. Yeah, that's it. You think I'm too petty for picking this?
No.
Dead meme.
Maluk Vaster. Why would this old lady call my store after it closed simply to say that she wasn't going to buy hot dogs from us anymore? Why the fuck did she think I gave a shit?
I know this seems like a random question for me to pick. I know.
Certainly does.
But let me explain, because it actually got me thinking about something, and I think you're going to agree with me once I explain this. It got me thinking about the mindsets of different age groups, what you might call baby boomers versus Gen X versus millennials, and how they treat people. Often when you see people in a store throwing a tantrum, or...
Is that what this is about? This isn't just out of context mind babble?
No, this is what I'm bringing to it. I'm just answering the question the best I can. So, no, it is out of nowhere, but I'm bringing context.
Okay, all right.
So often when you see people abuse people in a retail environment or are dicks in general to people there, I'm not saying this is always the case, but often, more than not, I've found when working and viewing others working, it's older people. It's old people or middle-aged people.
I've never once had an encounter negatively in that way with someone under 35.
Sure.
Weird.
Yeah, and also talking about the whole "I'm never coming here again" line, which, again, I've never heard a young person say. I've never heard a young person say that. Only old people. And you know why I think that is? Those old people are still in a mindset as if anyone in the building they are in is benefiting whether or not the company is profitable. Does that make sense? Like, when they went to a store as a kid, you're probably talking to either the owner of the store, family of the owner of the store, or someone who was hired there and really depends on the store working
Members
out.
of the community that you probably know.
Right. Whereas today, if you go into a goddamn Walmart and you complain to the clerk that something is a certain price, they don't care. Walmart doesn't care. Walmart's not going to shut down because you're upset that something's $1 more than the thing you thought. And I just think it's an interesting way to look at the difference between mindsets of, for instance, baby boomers and millennials. Same thing when you get baby boomers or parents of people saying, "Oh, you can't find a job? You gotta go in there and talk to the manager. You gotta demand to see the manager and hand them your resume." And
doesn't work.
That's not how the world works.
I've been a manager more than I've been not one in those jobs. I don't get to hire you. That's not how that works.
That's not how it works. They're so disconnected from the reality of the situation. Yeah. So when that old lady tells you, "I'm never coming back again," she's expecting the reaction she would have gotten in 1963 from old man Rutherford down at the general store.
How can we make it good to you, miss?
Sorry, Martha. Let me just go ahead and put that on your... That's not how shit works, old people. Stop being dicks to people. You don't... I really don't understand. Why
they really are entitled. It's entitlement.
Old people, for as much as they like to shit on millennials, whatever that fucking even means...
Any young person they disagree with.
Right, for being selfish or whatever. Are you kidding me? And I'm really, believe it or not, I'm not trying to paint the baby boomers as a whole like that either. I don't think everyone that age is like that. It just seems that there's a very loud section in there for some reason that is entitled and fucking assholes. And not only entitled, demands no one else wants the same entitlements they got.
Well, their parents were the greatest generation, you know what I mean? Like these are people that come from family members that killed literal Nazis, and they think they're like heroes almost. Like, we are Americans. We have a better way. But we, the millennials, are kind of like, we're very worldly educated at this point. Whether or not you know you're educated is a different thing, and you express it correctly. But like, there's like social media in general, you would never know about Mahmoud's day 30 years ago, fucking 10 years ago. But now you do. You kind of get it. You're a global citizen much more than you were before. And like, and I remember, because I'm a 90s kid, so it's like, I remember thinking like, I'm American. Like, it's so weird that across the world something crazy is happening, and now the impact of that happens because you see it every day. It kind of humbles you in a way, I think. It makes you think like maybe I'm not that important.
Yeah.
And now don't get me wrong, there are asshole entitled bullshit millennials all over the place. And before the comments become a fuck you war, the left and the right do it both. It's not one or the other. I don't want to hear SJWs are only the ones that, like, it's not the case. It's it's a lot of people, but it's not all the people, and it's definitely less common than it is in the older generations.
Sure. So, shut the fuck up, old people. Guess why? You about to die.
You about to die, son!
Now fuck off.
Dreams time! Were you guys ever stereotypical asshole atheists? And if so, do you have stories to share? Have any Christian arguments stumped you? That's a bonus question. Maybe we'll get to it dreams time. One per person!
I've mentioned before on the show how I was a stereotypical...
My favorite story of you, if you don't tell it, is funny.
Yeah, hold on. It's the stereotypical asshole atheist. I definitely was. And I want to explain why a little bit. But do you want to tell that story? Is it about the girl I made cry?
It was about the girl you made cry.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's a nice person. Not the brightest bulb, but at least at the time, she might be very intelligent now. She was a kid. I mean, she was probably, 17 at the time? I don't know.
So was I, by the way. I wasn't like my...
Oh, yeah, no. He was you're like
age.
the same age. No, it's fine. And I'm a little older than you, like 4 or 5 years at this point. I don't know how old am I? How old are you?
I'm 23, you're 27.
No, I'm older than that. But we were at work, and this is long before we worked. We did this thing. We were at work. I think were we at McDonald's at the time? Like, yeah, it was McDonald's. And oh yeah, it must have been. And so he's talking to this girl, and Hugo and I weren't like good friends then, but like good enough to where we would talk pretty often. I don't think we'd hung out yet, or maybe we had, but like occasionally. And the conversation starts. She's in back drive-through, which that's the person that like takes your money. And Hugo was like prepping something in the kitchen area, and then he just like drifted away and was starting to talk to this person. And I think you were talking about like heaven and hell, or I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was definitely something that she didn't want to hear, like about how when you die you're just dead. You're not going to go anywhere. Nothing happens to you. You're dead. You're not going to experience it, so it's not a big deal. I don't know why you're upset about this. You were going like a million miles an hour. It's hilarious. And then she like starts tearing up a little bit, and then you ended up calling her stupid. And then she broke down, and it was so funny because it was like, you're both children. And I was like, okay, let's stop it now. And I think Ryan, our buddy Ryan, I think was the one that stopped it. But
I was a fucking monster. And I know she will never see this, and I'll probably never talk to her again. But
I can't believe she remembers that.
Oh, maybe not. But it doesn't matter if they remember it. It was still something unacceptable I did to another person, and that's not okay. You guys all may have caught on the show before I mentioned I don't talk to my dad anymore. Part of the reason is, let's say I have some rage issues that I have inherited from him, and that might come as a shock to some of you people, although not to others if you've seen me when I really get in a groove.
Rage is kind of a strong word. That implies like a physicality to your anger.
Oh, there is. Even you haven't seen me.
No,
you haven't seen
like
me
toward at another person?
Yes, you haven't seen me. You haven't seen me that way. A lot of my life is trying to keep that under control. Because if there's something I am passionate about, which is anything I am interested in, I get very heated, and I don't know how to explain it, but luckily, at this point in my life, I'd like to think I have it under control, and I've found a way to be very calm and very okay with most things.
Is it because you drink Zima?
No, it's not because I drink Zima.
Oh, good, because it's fucking terrible. I'm struggling through this still.
You know when I go on those rants?
Yeah.
It comes from that same place. I am highly passionate about things again, I'm trying to articulate this in a way that I don't start talking at a million miles a minute, and I don't know. I feel like this is a terrible answer to this question. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I think a lot of asshole atheists like that, and I was one, so I know, it doesn't come out of a place of hate necessarily. It comes out of a place of deep passion and wanting for other people to understand the thing that you see yourself as understanding that seems simple. luckily, I think I've taken my rage and whatnot and channeled into something a little bit more positive, which is this show. So, I
But
don't
you
know.
said you've never been into a fight before, right?
I've never been in a physical fight.
See,
You are
that's why
correct.
it doesn't make sense to me that you feel it manifests in like a above average way.
Because even in my most rage filled moments, I am aware of consequences, and I always think no, but see, I'm also aware I'm not a physically imposing person, so
That makes sense,
I
I
wouldn't
suppose.
I would not start a fight I knew I couldn't finish, and
That makes sense.
I don't want to do that. But
Sure. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of fights, but my thing about fights is I don't see the resolutionary nature of them. They seem like superfluous to me, unless you have to physically restrain someone, which is what happened twice. But as far as my asshole atheist, I didn't really have like a moment that I was one. I'm just kind of really blunt with people in general, so sometimes people might perceive it as that, but it's just because I don't. I typically respect people enough not to dance around concepts, and sometimes that's to my detriment, and I come across as like an asshole. So that like my assholeness is kind of just like I'm really genuine a lot of the time, and that some people don't like that, and I get it. That's fine. That's a me thing, not a you thing. If that offends you, usually most times.
sure.
But yeah, I don't know. As far as the any Christian argument stumped me, not for long. Like anything that stumped me is just because I haven't heard of it. It seems pretty. Maybe the William Craig shit, but only because it's like so fucking mind spaghetti. It doesn't really matter.
yeah, I was gonna say the only ones that I would even argue stump me are ones that are internally consistent, and they stump me because there isn't a correct response because the argument itself is fallacious. So, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's not stumping. That's me saying that argument doesn't make sense. Here's why. Not it's convincing.
right.
I would say no. I've never heard a convincing argument. If I had, I would be much more on the fence than I am. I'm always open to the idea of changing my mind if evidence is presented, regardless of the topic. But as of right now, I'm a pretty hard atheist as far as like how much I think there probably isn't a god.
I'm hardline for any specific theism for sure.
Yes, I am. I'm like 99.99999% sure there is not a single religion in the world that is correct.
Right. And if there was a god, it would be probably, we our universe would look much different after we discovered it. It wouldn't be the same. Like you think if the Christian God's correct, your universe doesn't really change the concept of it. But I feel like if there is a God, it's not going to be a God. It's going to be like an intelligence, and we're like much smaller and more insignificant, and maybe, an accident and of some higher intelligence. They're just like, I think we're going to create a universe over here. But that's like the most plausible to me. Some
Yeah.
people might go into the simulation stuff, which, maybe doubt it. Really doubt it.
At that point, though,
Like, why simulate the biology to such a T?
but this is going into, I guess, sort of thought experiment philosophy. At the point where a simulation is so complex that it recreates
Then we're real.
biological life
Yeah.
exactly, it doesn't even matter that it's a computer program. It is.
Right. It changes
life
nothing
to me. I
That's
don't care.
another situation where it wouldn't change the universe. It'd still be the same.
Yeah.
We still have the same laws. Anyways, holy cow, 8498. Hugo, do you think a creature like Bigfoot could ever exist and go undetected? I don't believe in that malarkey anymore. Just wanted to ask.
I believe that there are probably, I'm sure there's tons of species that we're unaware of, maybe even impressive ones. For instance, I believe the giant panda was actually a myth until we discovered it. Like, people hadn't seen it in so long that they just thought it was like a Bigfoot type thing where it wasn't real. So I am fully open to there being creatures out there that we haven't discovered. Do I think specifically like a Bigfoot Yeti type hominid, upright ape creature? No. I think if that existed, it would be so obvious we wouldn't be able to not know. You know what I mean? It would have to live in such
Right.
specific seclusion in areas where humans never go that we wouldn't see them. And by the way, have you
Something
noticed
that big? How would it eat?
Right. Have you noticed that actually since like everyone's gotten a smartphone and everyone has an HD camera in their pocket, sightings of things like Bigfoot and UFOs has gone down? Not
I was
up.
gonna say the same exact thing. The Photoshop made it spike a little bit for a while, but yeah, it just doesn't. I feel like that kind of thing, like in the Amazon, but it wouldn't be like a big. I think Bigfoot's fascinating because it's like us. You know what I mean? It's bipedal. It doesn't knuckle around like a gorilla. So it's clearly different. Obviously, that famous video, they're like, "Oh, look at the musculature on this grainy video." Like,
if there were a Bigfoot, it would have to be our closest living relative, right? I mean,
right.
fuck bonobos and chimps. That would be like real close to us if it's upright and a hominid like that.
Part of me expected like if they ever found it to be like more close to a Neanderthal sort of situation. Does that make sense?
Like, yeah, like,
yeah, because they were kind of fucked out of existence a little bit, like literally with sex. And I don't. It doesn't seem plausible to me at this point. I feel like we're just interbred. But there are tribes of human beings that are literally untouched. We've hovered over top of them, and like, you ever see those really cool pictures of that tribe that covers himself in the red dye? And
yeah,
it's really interesting. And so, I mean, those pockets do exist. So it's not impossible. Our planet's very vast. But specifically a Pacific Northwest thing, or like some people say there's stuff in like Michigan up north, like in the UP. Like, I really doubt that.
If it were real, right by now we would have found some bones or something. We would have found some evidence.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel very plausible. But that's not to say in the world it's not. Like, I think the Himalayan ones, the Yeti, that makes more sense to me because of the desolation, and just isolation. Like people die. Well, it's the desolate landscape in them.
You're right.
But it's also isolated. I don't know. Like, Tibetan monks aren't probably gonna, see a lot of shit. It just seems like if there's any place to be, it's gonna be somewhere where there's not a lot of people. So the Pacific Northwest doesn't make any sense.
We would find tools also. I don't believe that a hominid species could have survived this long without developing some at least rudimentary tools for hunting or crafting things. And yeah.
Agreed. So. The Zimas make me have to pee. Next question. Hugo, did you make a sock account called Mateo Albiac?
No, I did not. I would come up with a better name than that.
I think it's Matale Albiac. I don't know what it is. Who knows? OMG, I just check and you have more subscribers than Brad, the cinema snob. Is not that you don't earn it, but man, that shatters my whole concept of reality. I was happy thinking Brad was some kind of big celebrity, although somehow a niche one, and you were the underdogs. I have to think about this for a while.
That actually kind of surprised me too at first, but it makes sense because, by the way, Brad is like 100% definitely more known than us on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Him and a bunch of other people I'm going to shout out here in a second because I figure now's a good time to... I've shouted out other atheist YouTube channels and even Brad before, but I'm going to give some channels that I really like and I think deserve some more subscriptions a shout out here. They were all sort of that... part of that channel awesome thing with Doug, the nostalgia critic, and some stuff has changed, so a lot of them have started shifting to YouTube. So for instance, Stoned Gremlin Productions, which is Brad's channel, is fairly recent, and he's actually gaining subscribers very quickly, so it will not shock me in the next year or two. He will lap us easily. But let me give you some other of these channels, and you guys can check them out if you want. So firstly, Cinema Snob over at Stoned Gremlin Productions. He does a lot of stuff. He does movie reviews. Like us, he does bad religious movies. He also does Italian horror movies. He does porno spoofs. Lots of fun stuffs. He also does the midnight screenings, which he does with some friends. After a movie, they go and sit in the car and talk about it. It's very casual. I like that kind of stuff. And he also does stuff like Brad tries, where he tries like different foods and stuff. So if you're into any of that... I think
he tried a Zima today, too.
Did he? It wouldn't shock me.
I saw it on Twitter. It came across. I'm pretty sure it was Brad tries Zima.
That's very, very him, so it wouldn't shock me at all. He tried like a while back, or not a while back, it's a long time ago now, but he did like a 30-year-old can of Billy beer. Do you remember Billy beer? Okay, well, look it up later. Anyway, he said it tasted terrible. I think he got sick afterwards, if I remember correctly, because, 30-year-old can of beer. Anyway, check him out. Lots of fun. Next, Phelan, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm sorry. It's like Porteous, I want to say, but it's Phalus is what he goes by, and he has his own channel here. He also does movie reviews and stuff. I don't watch him as much as the others, but he is funny. He did a lot of crossovers with the Nostalgia Critic, reviewing the Child's Play movies, and his Cabin Fever reviews are pretty good, so check those out. Next is going to be Movie Nights. This is another person from Channel Awesome. Check her out. She does like reviews of Baywatch. She's really into Quantum Leap, which is actually how I found her, because I love Quantum Leap. She does stuff like that and other movie reviews that are fun. She's worked with Brad before, too. So if you like Brad already, check her out and check out their crossovers, and then maybe watch some of her other stuff. Next, Lindsay Ellis. I've definitely mentioned Lindsay Ellis before. And Jake even is aware of her. I've mentioned her so many times just because if someone said to me, like, what's a good example of analytical film review on YouTube? Lindsay Ellis does it. If someone said critical, I'd probably go Red Letter Media because they just, review.
No, mine's Adam from yourmoviesucks.org.
He's good too. I love Adam as well. But I think Lindsay Ellis is like my gold star.
Ralph the Movie Maker does some good shit too, by the way.
Every Frame of Painting, also excellent.
God,
there's so many good video essayists out there now. They're doing such a great job. And Lindsay Ellis, she just did a really good one actually too about Mel Brooks, the production and ethics of satire about Nazis, which is interesting if you've been seeing, comedy about Nazis and stuff. So she talks about Mel Brooks and his motivations, and it's interesting. So check her out. You'll definitely like her. She's actually catching up to us real quick. She's already at 132,000 subscribers. She's going to lamp us by the end of the year. She's great. I'm guarantee she would hate us, though. She would definitely hate us. But
that's okay.
That's okay. I appreciate her content enough where I'll still recommend her. And then finally, Jasleen Cara, Top the Fourth Wall. He recently moved over. He also has his own website, but he's the guy who does the comic books. He's the big comic book reviewer online. And whether you're a fan of comic books casually or you're more into it, it's really interesting. Tells you about some more obscure stories, some bad stories. For instance, I've never really read Spider-Man, but he has some good stuff about the Clone Saga and what made that so bad. And also, I think for an anniversary, he did that, whatever it was. The one where Peter Parker made a deal with the devil to erase his marriage, and that was pretty good. He also does one of my favorite online series of all time, which is History of Power Rangers. So if you're a Power Rangers dork like me, it's the ultimate compendium of Power Rangers review, basically. He reviews every season. It's amazing. I can't believe how much work he puts into that. All these people, honestly. I'm shocked, and I'm that some of these people have such low followers, because I guess this might just come from an outside observer thing. It might just be because I work on our videos, so I don't really watch our videos, but these are all people who seemingly, to me, put out more content that's of higher quality, so definitely check it out. Not to say I think we suck or anything, it's just, you can tell they put a lot of work into their shit, so they definitely deserve, some more subscribers. So check all those people out.
Maybe we should try this quality thing.
Oh, God. No.
No. Okay.
Stay the course. That's what I always say. So I guess that's it. Thanks, everyone. And by the way, if you want to tell any of those people, like, hey, I'm here from Hugo and Jake, go ahead. You don't have to. I don't care. But you don't have to for Brad. I've shouted out Brad enough. I've talked to Brad.
I think Brad was going to come on the show soon.
Yeah, I saw you talk to him on Twitter the other day.
We got the tweet twat going on.
Are we doing something over here, or are we doing something on Unpop with him? Unpop would make sense, but
I haven't discussed it with him.
Okay.
You guys can talk. You guys figure it out. Set a date, my dude.
All right, I'll figure it out. I feel so bad, because you know what, too? I don't know if Brad will watch this or not. Sometimes he watches our videos. I keep meaning to watch Jesus Bro, which is the movie they just did that is the parody of the various, bad religious movies. I keep wanting to watch it, but I keep getting busy, and I must have messaged him like 5 separate times when we're in other conversations about whatever, because we help each other out sourcing videos and stuff sometimes, because we have crossover in content we do. I keep telling him, I swear I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it this weekend, and I keep getting busy. I feel so fucking bad.
Just do it!
I just don't want him to think I'm avoiding it. I swear, Brad, I'm not avoiding it. I'm just getting busy and shit. So actually, maybe after I have a Doctor Who thing to edit tonight, but maybe after that, or I'll get tired and fall asleep. I don't know. Everyone else go watch Jesus Bro, though. There you go. You're less busy than me. All right.
Probably, maybe.
Anyway,
that's it.
So that's it for Ask Hugo number 42. 42. Yeah, I made a Douglas Adams joke at the beginning. That's how.
Is that a Guardian or Guide to the Galaxy joke?
Yeah, the answer to the meaning of the life, universe, and everything is 42.
Right. Cool, man.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna finish this Zima. Anyone want it?
Yeah, nope. The
Try it one
bottle.
time.
You know what? Even the shape of the bottle is gross to me. I don't know why. I don't like a bottle with ridges like that.
You know, like I know in Michigan they have them in some other states, Iowa, Vermont, Maine, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Hawaii, New York, and Oregon. They have bottle returns. So if you're from any of those states, you've been to a bottle. It smells like a bottle return.
Ew. Yeah, I've always wanted to drink that. So
Right. It's super weird. That's why it's off-putting. It feels like the floors are always sticky in those places. It feels like the floor is sticky when you smell that.
So we're doing a T-shirt sale right now. By the way, it's the final
yeah.
week. So if you're gonna do that, here's
I cannot believe they're still around for this.
I know, Jesus Christ, people, get a life. Go ahead and buy one of those shirts or not, whatever. You can also follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
Follow Hugo Reloaded.
You can also subscribe to the channel and get more stuff like this, and things of higher quality or lower quality. I have no way to determine that. And then finally, you can always donate to our Patreon campaign, or whatever. So, until next time, I'm Hugo.
We're gonna do a hangout soon. My life's been crazy. You'll learn about it later. You'll learn about my crazy life at some point, but not right now.
So, Hugo.
I love you.
Ask Hugo.